We are here in the Somatic Academie in Kreuzberg, Paul-Lincke-Ufer. Actually, we're in the therapy space. It's our smallest and most coziest space. You choose it, therefore. And behind me is our office. It's now just since a few weeks nicer because we got a gift, chairs and tables new. And then there is a small studio, and to that direction we have the big studio. In our neighborhood is another center, which is the Zentrum für Yoga und Stimme. So we're sharing this with this neighborhood, and the organizational structure is also kind of overlapping. The motivation in 2012 to start this space additionally to the yoga center, which exists since many years, was to create a roof for a variety of somatic methods and to somatic practices beyond already formatted methods, for practice, for research, for exchange, for teaching and learning. We realized it doesn't feel appropriate anymore to rise these towers or to keep such kind of just to one direction or one method dedicated space in that somatic field. So basically the exchange and also the critical exchange and discourse related to how do we communicate from different somatic perspectives, and how do we relate from there to society. That was actually the biggest motivation. Very physically also creating spaces where we can work and develop and make a living, and actually without any support by any governmental recognition or funding. So we're actually carrying a lot of risk. We're trying to run this place, and in a way because it's so fucking a lot of work and we never have enough time. We're always too late. We're always at the edge of our energy. So we're also closed like that, but we're trying to run a place opening. So it's part of how you're limited. So I personally don't get a compassionate textual relationship to the word scene. It for me stays completely virtual and always a little bit like a too cool term. So when I think of these processes accessing a city with an interest, coming as a dancer, performer, Feldenkrais practitioner, trying to make my living, trying to connect, trying to find people, trying to relate with my questions and so on. I'm relating to, on one hand, to spaces that exist already, to real spaces, and to communities around these spaces or beyond, and then because I heard you asking also for do you have other words? The word collective on one hand is something I can find in my own life that made sense, or collaborations, and so I always had a strong interest in finding realizations to combine my Feldenkrais practice with my creative practice and with my performance practice. And I didn't really had, when I came here, I didn't really had blueprints. So I was really trying to develop realizations in that. How could that come together, and what could come through that, and that was actually my way to dig the cities and offers what was there, and that brought me to people, and one other term. So it brought me contemporarily to people, and then life went on and it went somewhere else, and other connections established because of sometimes just because of I can't keep on everything, or my interest shifted, or something worked and another thing didn't, or so on. So another word I really like to also use in that context is compliancy, in a positive use of compliancy, Komplizenschaft in German. It comes from the background also from illegal activities. So you do something forbidden together. That's one big part of the meaning of the word, and it has to do something with subversive action. So not completely public, and you can choose someone to, we're gonna go with momentum for that action, and then we both take our advantage from it, and we're dedicating us, and then maybe it's already gone, and with all these terms, with their different aspects, compared to the term scene, I more can identify that it's always created by individuals with their own needs and interests, nurturing something for longer or shorter while together, and then building these meshes of relationships, and that there's something about dynamics which I can sense, and I can try to understand, while the term scene for me always is like more blurry, or so that's what I'm interested in, is really seeing where can I bring in interest and passion and meet someone else or many others, and it's about finding a way towards realization of something. And it could be a creative work, it could be a house, it could be cooking. So somehow. Yeah, that's what we can find, and what we can find definitely in Berlin too, that there is a Feldenkrais community, that there is an Alexander community, that there is a contact improv community, and a BMC community, and I'm sure when you look at these communities, you can find sub-communities within that too. And you can always find many practitioners not connected to that community and still being here and doing their work. Why do we need that? Also, I guess it's or the Greenberg community. So beyond my individual attempt to make my living and to make my work, it's supporting a name, and it's easier, and it's not just about that, but it's important that that a name is supporting people to find a place to where they can become active with the method. And also language-wise, all these methods do create a certain language context, so understanding might be easier with people from the same method. So so I guess that is part of the maybe it's even a human need to connect with people doing more or less the same. What we're trying is to establish something that creates space for skills and knowledge production through these somatic methods and approaches that could get an impact almost in every life situation. It obviously is needed that we're trying to find new models or new possibilities. So, and I see our house as a space to have a little seat in that. And therefore I would say a society that is coming to an edge is actually needing these creative impacts and the energies and the knowledge to continue, and therefore I very much think that maybe it's a dream, but the Grundeinkommen, so the basic income, could solve some of it, and also it could reduce the fight for so there you started. Is there what is there about? Is it better to teach? Is it better to make art? Is it better to write? So all of these hierarchies or these fights could be overcome if we could draw at least from a basic reliable income. So and what I personally experience is a lot. So you were talking, or you were asking, what do I see within in the scene and in the city. So I do see a lot of people coming with a lot of passion and energy to do something, to realize something, to bring something into the world. So and I think there's something about the heat. I'm wishing us all the best actually for developing that. What could a somatikerin be? What does it mean? What could that? So actually we're inventing like a profession. And it's still on the way. I'm wishing for also longing for more development of a recursive exchange, or recursive in the sense of connected to what I was talking about before, the sensory feedback to thoughts acting. So finding ways of critical exchange in relation to that feedback, sensory, body, mind feedback. So there's something language-wise, but also maybe the mode of how to find new exchanges, that's something I think is important for here. But yeah, I'm curious to take that further.